Welcome back to Pride. This video we're going to be going over the secrets to shadowboxing like a pro. This will enable you to take your shadowboxing to the next level. Normally when we're shadowboxing, we're focusing on speed, power, technique, working on our defense, working on certain combinations, working on certain footwork, working on specific things that we want to increase. But to shadowbox like a pro, you really want to have that mindset that you have a fight coming up. You want to be preparing for a fight. You want to shadow box as if you're in a fight. You want to go 3-minute rounds. You want to go as many rounds as you can. You know, if you're training for a 6-round fight, you want to be doing 12 rounds, 10 rounds, shadow boxing. And you want to really approach that shadow boxing as if you're approaching a fight. So you're not going to get into your stance, go into your shadow boxing, and immediately start working on, you know, keeping that elbow in, bringing that hand back after you jab. You're going to want to go into this as if it's a fight. So first round, you're going to want to really feel your opponent out. You're going to want to stay on the outside, pick your shots, start sizing up your opponent, trying to land a couple body shots here and there, but not taking too many chances. So your shadow boxing, you want to have a lot of strategy to it. So it's really important to keep in mind and to remember every fight starts from the outside. You're not going to be in close. You're not going to be throwing uppercuts and hooks immediately. So you're going to start your shadow boxing from the outside. First round, you're feeling out your opponent. You're throwing jabs, crosses, 1-2s, using your reach, using your footwork. So you want to focus on footwork, single shots, 1-2s, sizing up your opponent, looking for openings, really feeling them out. You also want to be ready to throw 3- and 4-punch combos. If you feel and you see the openings, you want to be able to take it right away. You also want to imagine your opponent is experienced as well. He's going to be doing the same thing. He's going to be throwing single shots. He's going to be elusive. He's going to be moving. So you also want to be blocking and moving, protecting yourself, covering up, firing back with single shots. You want to be throwing counters when you can and see what that does. See what it opens up. See how your opponent reacts. So back to the beginning. We start our first round of shadow boxing. We're jabbing. We're feeling out our opponent. We're doing a lot of footwork. We're moving. We're fresh, so we're light on the feet. We're real sharp. We're throwing single shots. Our opponent is throwing single shots. We're countering. We're moving. We're not really committing too much forward. Okay, we're feeling out our opponent. We're trying to see how he reacts to the jab, what he's throwing first, what he's leading with. Okay, we're trying to size him up. Try to land some shots if we can. If we can slip under, get low and throw it across to the body, we do. Okay, we double up our jab. See how he reacts to that double jab. This way we can try to create some openings for the right hand, okay? Also keeping in mind, he might come forward and throw more than just single shots. If your opponent tries to pressure you, if he tries to come at you a little faster, throw more than single shots, throw combinations at you, you got to be ready to move. Use those angles, take shots that you can, okay? If he really pressures you hard, you're going to need power shots. You're going to have to hurt him with those shots to really ward him off. So your opponent's coming at you, you're just throwing single shots, lead cross, moving, trying to size him up, and he really comes in and puts a lot of pressure on. I got to be ready to cover and roll and answer back with some good power shots, okay? I got to be ready to mix it up early on. This is a problem in amateur boxing sometimes. It's shorter rounds, shorter distance of a fight, less rounds in the fight. So a lot of amateur boxers, they come out trying to finish the fight right away. So let's recap real quick. We're going to stay on the outside. We're going to throw our single shots, but we're also ready to throw combinations. We also need to land body shots in the early rounds. Preferably the first round, but at least first or second round, you want to land good, strong body shots, okay? If the fight goes to the later rounds, by landing body shots in the early rounds, you're going to take a lot of energy out of your opponent. He's not going to be able to attack you with as much force as he would have if you didn't land those body shots. So it's real important to land body shots in the early rounds. You can always change levels, go head body, throw the jab to the head, come down low, go cross to the body, or you could dip in, throw that hook to the body. Always try to land body shots in the early rounds, and you got to make them count. This way you take a lot of energy out of your opponent. So the fight starts on the outside. We're throwing straight punches. We're ready to throw combinations if the openings are there. And we're ready to throw power shots to the body when the openings are there as well. We're also defending and countering, and we're also ready for our opponent to come at us a little more aggressive than we think. Once you make it out of your first round, you really want to implement everything that you were doing in the first round in the second and third round as well, okay? You just want to kick it up a notch, and you want to take what you learned in that first round from your opponent. There's no right way to have your second, third, fourth round. It all depends how that first round goes. So that's why you really want to size up your opponent, see what openings there is, see the way he fights, see his style, okay? And you really want to take it from there. You can have a strategy going into the fight, but you're never going to predict it the way it's going to be until you get into that first round. When you get into your later rounds, you want to really see how many punches you're throwing in those later rounds. You want to imagine if I was in a fight and this was the 10th round and I was only able to throw 30 punches, that's not good. You need to increase that a lot, because sometimes you get to those 10th, 11th, 12th rounds and you can be with an opponent that you guys are each throwing over 100 punches each round. And so you need to really work on that with your shadow boxing and make sure you're throwing a really high level of punches. Also focus on your reaction timing in those later rounds. You see fighters like Canelo in the early rounds, they're slipping every punch thrown at him. But in the later rounds, he's not slipping anything. You need to work on that and make sure that you can defend yourself in those later rounds. If you don't have the energy to slip punches in the later rounds and fight with your hands low, then you need to switch up your style in the later rounds. If you say to yourself, I know by the 10th, 11th, 12th round, I'm not going to be able to have the energy that I need to slip the punches the way I was slipping them in the early rounds. So in the later rounds, I'm going to fight here. I'm going to fight with my hands up, and I'm just going to cover and roll with the punches and counter, okay? Now, to shadow box with this much strategy and to really act as if it's a real fight and to think round by round, this is something that comes with experience. Once you've been in there and you've had a good amount of fights, or it could come from a good experienced coach that's really pushing that on you and instilling that in your training. So adding this into your training is really going to make you shadow box like a pro, okay? Really shadow boxing as if you're in a fight, round after round, thinking early rounds, middle rounds, late rounds. What do I need to do in those early rounds? What do I need to do in those middle rounds? And what do I need to do to last in those later rounds and really be the best me in that 10th, 11th, and 12th round? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys add this to your training. Be sure to subscribe to Prime Martial Arts. New boxing videos every Monday and Wednesday.